Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for April 7th. April 7th is the 97th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 98th in leap years, with 268 days remaining until the end of the year. Today's word is apology. We mentioned contronyms yesterday. Did you know that apology is a contronym? Apology is a noun, and it can mean either a statement of contrition for an action or a defense of one. The word apology comes to us from Middle English, Middle French before that, and Late Latin before that, where it meant formal defense. First known use of the word apology is 1533. Apology. With that, we're going to start with this item right here. You've heard of Attila the Hun, haven't you? I guess I'd never given much thought to when he was about, but just to give you some reference, in the year 451, Attila the Hun sacked the town of Metz and attacked other cities in Gaul. Now, Metz is a town in France, and Gaul was part of Europe inhabited by Celts and covered most of modern-day Europe. On April 7th, 1141, Empress Matilda became the first female ruler of England, adopting the title of Lady of the English. Pretty sure we've talked about Magellan before. On April 7th, 1521, Ferdinand Magellan arrived at Cebu. Cebu is in the Philippines, and that's pretty remarkable if you think about it. He left from Europe, sailed over to South America, went south around the southern tip of the South American continent, and then west across that huge old Pacific Ocean, all the way to the Philippines, where he arrived on this day in 1521. This is the birthday of poet William Wordsworth, born April 7th, 1770. When he was 73, became Poet Laureate of England. He lived to the age of 80. Now, these days, most of us don't think about Ohio being particularly all that far west exactly, but in 1788, it was pretty far west. In fact, it was part of what was called the Northwest Territory. And on this day, April 7th, 1788, American pioneers established Marietta, Ohio, as the first permanent American settlement in the Northwest Territory. On April 7, 1805, the Lewis and Clark Expedition's Corps of Discovery broke camp among the Mandan tribe and resumed its journey west along the Missouri River. On April 7, 1805, German composer Ludwig van Beethoven premiered his Third Symphony in Vienna. As recently as 1906, Mount Vesuvius erupted, devastating Naples, Italy. This is the birthday of Canadian composer, conductor, and bandleader Percy Faith, born April 7, 1908. Faith introduced the use of large string sections to soften and fill out the popular music of the 1940s, popularizing a form that came to be called easy listening or mood music. This type of music came to be a staple of American popular music in the 1950s and 60s. Percy Faith lived to the age of 67. This is the birthday of American singer, songwriter, and actress Billie Holiday, born April 7, 1915. Quite something, Billie Holiday. She died in 1959 at the age of 44. This is the birthday of American baseball player and coach Bobby Doerr. He played his entire MLB career for the same team, Boston Red Sox. That's pretty unusual. He was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1986, and from April 25, 2017 until his death in November of that year, Doerr was the oldest living former Major League player. I actually got to meet him when I lived in Cooperstown. Nice guy. He lived to the age of 99. Indian-American sitar player and composer Ravi Shankar was born on April 7, 1920. He lived to the age of 92. The first city-to-city television broadcast took place on April 7, 1927. Secretary of Commerce Herbert Hoover broadcast from a studio in Washington, D.C. to an audience in New York City. This is the birthday of American actor, singer, and producer James Garner, born April 7, 1928. Born in Norman, Oklahoma, he had leading roles in more than 50 theatrical films and nearly as many awards and nominations. He lived to the age of 86. Now, wasn't it Booker T. Washington's birthday just the other day? Well, on this day in 1940, Booker T. Washington became the first African American to be depicted on a United States postage stamp. This is the birthday of American singer-songwriter, guitarist, and producer John Oates. He is the Oates of Hall & Oates. Speaking of musical teams, that amazing musical writing team of Rodgers and Hammerstein wrote a musical called South Pacific, which opened on Broadway on April 7, 1949. It ran for 1,925 performances and won 10 Tony Awards. This is the birthday of Hong Kong martial artist, actor, stuntman, producer, and screenwriter Jackie Chan. Born April 7, 1954, John Wayne won his first and only Academy Award for acting on April 7, 1970, for his leading role in the movie True Grit. Development of the neutron bomb was put on hold by President Jimmy Carter on April 7, 1978. This is significant because of what a neutron bomb is. A neutron bomb is an enhanced radiation weapon and is considered sort of a clean bomb in that it's designed to result in less blast damage, less damage to buildings and structures, but more radiation damage. It was considered again later in the 80s, but ultimately was abandoned. And that's all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoyed this series, you could check out the playlist that includes these videos. I'll have a link in the description to that. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include the link to my blog page that will also have all those links. My blog is called No Really. And you can also find me on Rumble, Parler, BitChute, and Getter. All those links in the description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.